Welcome to the objective review of the latest movie, Ready Player One. In an objective review, I like to break a movie down into 6 categories and assign weights to them depending on their genre. So first category is story. And for sci-fi movies, I like to assign a 30% weight. And this movie, the story is pretty good. I consider it a cross between the Lego movie, Sword Art Online, and Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. The plot of Ready Player One is that there's a virtual reality world where you can play video games and be anything you want. But the creator of this world has passed away, but he left behind a Easter egg to find. If you can find the Easter egg, you become the sole owner of the game. So you have two sides really trying to find these two Easter eggs. One is this business corporate side that owns a lot of things that go on in the Oasis world as it is. And then you have this other ragtag team of people who just really like playing the game. And the thing I do really love about the story, and maybe the moral of the story, is that oftentimes we take things a little bit too seriously. We take games too seriously. We take, sports, any type of hobbies too seriously. And really, you need to get back to why you do it in the first place. And it's because you love it. And that should be kind of the first focus of anything you do, is just because you love it, not because you can get paid for it or not because you can get famous for it, but just because you love it. And I think we can really apply that to many aspects of our lives. So for that, I give the story an 8 out of 10. Next is emotion. For sci-fi movies, I assigned 20% weight for emotion. And this movie really didn't have all that much emotion to it. Even in times when terrible things happen to certain characters, you don't really feel that emotion. You don't really feel that pain or suffering or anything. The one moment that I thought there was some good emotion in there was, it wasn't painful or anything or sad. It was just the character giving a pretty rousing speech about, hey, this is our place. Come and fight with us. He was trying to gather an army to fight with him. And that was pretty much the only time I felt really any emotion in the movie. So for that, I assign a 6.5 rating to emotion. On to action. When it comes to action, I'll assign a 15% weight to sci-fi movies. And the action in Ready Player One was really great. They had one really amazing car race scene, which felt like the best video game I've ever played that has never existed, but it's come to life in this movie. I'm like, I really want to play this video game of just the racetrack was amazing, the obstacles in the racetrack was amazing, the different cars they got to use was amazing. Just visually, it was a stunning scene that it lasted a really good long time, but the pacing was done really well in that scene. The other great scene, there was a scene about The Shining. I felt like you were playing like like the Walking Dead Telltale games, where you don't know what's around the corner, but then it switches to like playing The Last of Us, where you start fighting everything. Everything feels like survival. So the action was really good. And then at the end there's a huge kind of battle scene to top it all off. So they had 3 really great action sequences. So for that, I give an 8.5 to the action. When it comes to comedy, only assign 5% weight for sci-fi movies, but this movie didn't disappoint. It was pretty solid comedy all throughout. I feel like I chuckled at least every other 5 or 7 minutes, so that really kept me entertained, really helped the pacing out. There's really only one laugh out loud moment that I had. Most of the comedy comes from the side characters in the movie. So for comedy, it wasn't amazing comedy, but it was solid, so I give it a 7 out of 10. Next category is acting. And for sci-fi movies, I assigned 10% weight to acting. And acting was pretty solid in this movie as well. Everyone was really serviceable. There's really not that much to say. There will be no Oscars given out here, but everyone did really solid. The main character was really good. He was really believable as this kid who really looked up and admired the creator of the Oasis. Everyone else did really good. I mean, there was no weak link. This acting was just solid all around. And for solid, I give it a 7 out of 10. Now, next category is directing. And for directing, I assign 20% weight to sci-fi movies. And this is where the movie really shines. And the movie's directed by Spielberg. And so it's going to be at least decent. I don't think I've ever seen a bad Spielberg movie. But he just really hit out of the park with everything. I mean, the movie has great pacing. I never looked at my watch once, always felt engaged. The visuals were amazing, as I talked about before, the race car scene. The cinematography was great. The score was great. Everything was honestly just great. He really knocked it out of the park here, and I give directing a 9 out of 10. So we can now calculate what the weighted average score would be, and it is a 7.8 out of 10, which is really good. I really enjoyed myself in this movie. Speaking very subjectively right now, there are tons and tons of Easter eggs in this movie. I mean, I probably had, a couple of nerdgasms here and there. I mean, I don't want to ruin them, but I think for anyone who, is into pop culture or plays video games or anything like that, you'll probably find a lot of enjoyment from watching Ready Player One, which is kind of interesting because I think we've had in the past 3 months a couple really good video game movies. I'm including Jumanji and Ready Player One in that. I haven't seen Tomb Raider yet, so I can't speak to that. But maybe this is a way to approach, kind of that video game crowd. But like I said, this movie was really good. I think subjectively it was really good for me because I'm into all those things, and I loved all the Easter eggs. So yeah, at one point I really nerded out because I thought there was going to be a Dragonzord. It wasn't. It was something else. I was slightly disappointed there for a minute, but the other thing was cool anyway. All right, so I want to know what your objective ratings would be. Comment below. Please subscribe, like, whatever. I'm out.